Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders with Marketing Huddle, and today we have with us Cheryl Breukelman, who is with Epiphany Coaches. Welcome to the program, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me here, Mike. Much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. It's always great to talk to people that help make a difference in improving other people's lives. I mean, that's what a coach does, and you're a fellow member of the Forbes Coaches Council. So give us just a brief background on yourself, what led you to Epiphany Coaches, to starting and founding that, and I really do want to focus on I love Epiphany. I love when you listen to names and you're like, Epiphany Coaches, that kind of means to me that you provide the foundation for someone to have their own epiphany in their life or business. So I love where that's hopefully heading.
Yes, well, you picked up on that. That's good to know.
Good.
So it's working for us. Thank you, Mike. So just by way of introduction, I like to think I got my feet wet in the corporate world at Microsoft Canada and spent 10 years there doing a variety of different things, but moved around inside customer service, in sales, in marketing, and then had some really great roles in strategic initiatives where, I got to work across the organization on national initiatives, and that meant working with managers and teams right across the business. And I think, that's where, my love for coaching and for helping people really realize their potential came from. And that's what really, pulled me forward into coaching. I didn't yet know it existed, but, after the 10 years at Microsoft, was doing some community work and discovered coaching and founded Epiphany Coaches back in 2001. So we've been in existence for 16 years now, and our mission has remained the same, to really be championing and driving people-first leadership. We really come from that place of believing that, there's huge opportunity to create environments and, support people to do their very best work. And I saw that firsthand so many times, and that's really, the passion that continues for me. The wonderful news is that over those 16 years, you can imagine, things have evolved. And so, I now have an amazing team of 30 coaches around the world, and we're able to, support leaders worldwide in the leadership space as well as in the career and the team space. So we're loving what we're doing and just finding, ways to continue to make things relevant and support people inside their organizations, Mike.
I love that, and there's one word that jumped out at me that I think that you probably say without thinking about it, and then it probably is something that's baked into your strategy and coaching, which is pull. You felt pulled to this profession or this calling, and I think the antithesis of that is being pushed. And I think if you push people and when you're coaching them in an organization, they feel like they're told what to do, they're going to check off the box, they're going to do it, punch their clock and say, did it, see ya. But if they are passionate and understand the vision and mission behind whatever the organization is doing, and you're coaching them to move through their and improve personally and professionally, then they feel pulled. And I think that's a whole different outlook on those results, right? The pull versus pushing employees.
Yeah, just to expand on that thought, one of the single biggest ways that you're ready for coaching is that you can make it a priority, right? Like that, so that it's important to you, right? You can make the time and space. And I think, second to that is the fact that, what makes coaching so powerful is this notion that, we don't show up and tell people what to do, right? We're not going to come with the solutions. We're definitely going to be able to brainstorm and share ideas and, share our experiences. But it's, one of the reasons that coaching is so successful in driving all sorts of benefits, both on the personal level as well as organizationally, is the fact that it's this custom and personal approach, right? Where you're catering to exactly where a person is, and you're taking their styles and their preferences into account, and they're fundamentally making every decision inside that coaching engagement to pull themselves forward and make progress on their goals. And that's one of the biggest reasons that it's so successful, because you're able to customize, and that person is in the driver's seat around the topics they bring, the goals they bring, and every action they take forward.
Yeah, I love that. And something I was wondering about, you coach organizations to help them, with their leadership, with their moving forward. But also, I'm sure that there's an element of coaching that individual person as an individual person, because when they do well personally, then they do well professionally. Is there an element of that as well in your strategy?
100%. So, as much as the goals for the program, inside an organization, are going to be linked back to likely strategic priorities and, let's say, capabilities and maybe even leadership behaviors that we're looking to drive forward. The truth is that, like you say, we're one person, right? So the values we bring, the beliefs we bring, and the style that we bring, it's all one thing. And so if you have a lot of things in your life, in this particular example, let's say if you have a lot of things in your life going on, that's definitely going to have an impact professionally, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. And so we do always coach the person as one, right? It's a very holistic approach, and that's not to say that we got off course and only start dealing in the personal realm. But there's a piece here too where helping people be very clear on what matters to them and what's meaningful to them, which is a whole person, and allowing them to be their most authentic self. That they're going to show up as their best leader. So it all goes hand in hand.
So what are you finding if an organization reaches out to you to say, something in our organization is going on that made us wonder if coaching would benefit us, so, tell us what you can do. What typically is that trigger in that organization that might make them go, I wonder if we could benefit by this? Because I don't think that part of an executive or a C-suite executive's to-do list every day is Google how to get the best, executive coach for our firm. But something is going to happen to make them go, how can we fix this or do better here?
Yeah, such a good point. Well, I think, a few things are happening out there, Mike. I think the first one is, definitely organizations that are looking at their talent and they're saying, hey, how do we keep the younger workforce engaged, right? We want to retain these great people. We know, especially the younger generation, they are looking for learning opportunities. They want to be developed. And so, where people are looking at their younger generations for that particular outcome, that's one place. Another place that we see it quite commonly, and I guess this is a recommendation too for anybody that's considering it, is to really think about where are the big bets in your business. What do you really need to land this year, and think about the people that are going to support those initiatives. That is definitely a piece of work that we do to make sure that those leaders are successful in those roles driving those big bets forward. And another place that is very common is, just looking at the talent map, and looking at readiness and saying, we have a whole band of leaders that, are going to move out, or we're going to need people to fill this next spot or level. How ready are our people? And that's another place where coaching can really support, is in readiness programs, so that, we're developing some really specific skills and behaviors that they're going to need at that next level of leadership ahead of time, so there's no gap for that company. As soon as the next level is ready to either move up or perhaps it's retirement, you have talent ready to go to fill in that spot. So,
otherwise, it's kind of like the roller coaster of an example in sales. We need to hit our sales numbers, so let's do a bunch of sales and marketing, and then we got some sales, and now we take our focus off of that to support the new sales we just did, because they don't have a team to support that influx of business. And then now, okay, they got that new business handled, and then let's focus. And it's this up and down, up and down. Well, to your point, if you want to take your business to the next level and there's some initiatives going on, what if there's those gaps of our team is not ready to, sprint or to run, consistently? What if it's like sprint, walk, and then that kind of could burn you out internally in a sense as well. Is that a good assessment?
Well, I think I would say that, you want to be thinking about how to be strategic, right, when you make your decisions around coaching. But you don't also, the goal isn't for the leader to become, dependent on the relationship, right? There are very specific goals there. And, to your point about kind of fits and spurts and, stops and starts, I think that's another piece where you can be really thoughtful about, what's the timing to support this leader? Is it a full, 12-month cycle? Is it going to be appropriate for it to be a 6-month cycle? And, it not just be about the coach and that particular leader, that the way that you kind of keep that thread consistent always is pulling in, managers and HR people, maybe even peers, and we are able to do that inside coaching programs too, so that it's not just this, project on the side, it's that it's fully integrated and supported by more than just the coach and client.
So what do you say to people that might go, well, we don't need coaches or you or, an outside person, because we've got a team and we've got managers that, take care of those kind of things of nurturing our employees along? Well, I would suspect from the outside looking in that the answer could involve, well, you guys tend to be really myopic about your own organization because you're inside it. So when someone from an external view comes in with a proven system, now we're able to really move a little bit quicker and show you things where you can improve. But I'm sure you run into people that just go, why coaching? Why would that benefit us?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I think the simplest way to say it would be, yes, there will be good people there, to support their people and get results. And that's what an organization does. So why bring in a coach? The single biggest reason is we'll accelerate the results. Again, because the very nature of coaching is one that, we're laser focused on a goal. They're getting support, across a very prescribed period of time. And, it's human nature that people want to show up and they want to do well. So if you have a coach that's, focused on something with you and you have a session the next week or the next month, you're going to want to show up and have some results and something to talk about. And that's the thing about coaching. We're always driving, two things. One is insight when we're together, right, around a topic. But it's also about action. I mean, so much happens outside of the coaching sessions, as a result of those conversations. And that's what it's really about, like putting things into practice, experimenting.
And doesn't it become really customized in the sense that you're asking that organization, where are you headed? And where do you see the gaps? And then you're listening from your industry expertise to say, here's what I'm seeing and sensing, but it really is not a cookie cutter template. We're going to cram you into this square peg when you really need a round, hole. But I think that's the mindset to keep in mind is organizations need to realize that an external coach can bring that experience in, but they're listening to what you need to go, okay, that's the direction we're heading.
Yeah, I mean, people will often say that's hugely valuable, right? Is just objective third-party point of view on things. And more than that, just helping people expand their perspectives, like you said, and part of that's being able to share other experiences we've had as possibilities for them, and just being skilled at going through an exercise of how to see things from different perspectives and what's best serving and supportive, for sure.
So do you think that coaching has become even more relevant today, maybe given the shifts over the last couple decades in demographics, meaning used to be, the baby boomers and the Gen Xers, they kind of talked well, played well together, but now you insert, millennials and Gen Y, and now there becomes some, communication opportunities or some things where coaching way back in the day might have been, helpful and profitable, but now potentially even more so given those change of dynamics.
Yeah, it's interesting. Definitely the younger generations are driving new needs, absolutely, and I think it makes coaching very relevant. I mean, some of the things that we see out there, that are new, let's say even in the last 5 years, right? In the last 5 years, leaders, there's this expectation that they're not just going to be even influential or effective, that, there's an expectation that they're inspirational, right? That they can help people find purpose and meaning in their work, that they can, really connect with their people and, show more humanity, to be honest. And this is an area I know, with myself and my team have invested a lot of time because, for I'd say even the last 8 or 9 years, we always have clients coming to us, and at the end of the day, what they're looking to do is move the needle here and be more inspirational, and it's tied to relationship skills. So we spend a lot of time helping them become, really masterful in conversations and, showing up as a courageous and transparent leader because the expectations are there. And in fact, it's interesting. You'll hear, I would say even over the last 12 months, Mike, I'm seeing something new trending, which is, even beyond, help me be inspirational, is this awareness now that, hey, this command control style isn't working, and we want to move to a more coaching culture, which is what they'll say. And I mean, everybody needs to define what that is, but I think, what underlies all of it is this recognition that, more engagement, more openness, more conversations, and, definitely developing people. And all of these things, are fantastic areas of focus that coaching can really support. I mean, and maybe even beyond that, I would say there's one other thing that's going on, and I know we all see it out there, right, which is we have, disruptive business models coming out all the time, right? New technologies. And, back to your point about younger generations, they're plugged in all the time. I would say most of us are now plugged in all the time in ways that, or to an extent that we ever were before. And so that demands speed, right? And so that means instead of having a whole bunch of time to plan out a long cycle for something, it's about how do you manage uncertainty and change and, get comfortable with iterations and experiments and potential failure, but needing to move at that pace. So you've got all of these good things going on and driving these new needs and this new awareness for what leadership needs to look like. And the great news is that, coaching is fantastic for this. And we see great results, right? I mean, we've been coaching for, like I said, 16 years, and these are senior leaders around the world, and, it's 95+% results all the time on helping them progress on their goals through coaching. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. So let's wrap up with one final question, which is, if an organization is considering coaching, what's one thing that they need to keep in mind to be prepared for a potential coaching relationship? And then what's the best way that someone could reach out just to learn a little bit more and maybe connect with you?
Absolutely. Well, I did mention, to really be thoughtful about, what your strategic priorities are. So, I'll reinforce that point again. But I think, in terms of being prepared, I guess I'd want people to almost raise up their expectations of what they can get from coaching. So what I mean by that is it's so much more than just finding a coach. Like, organizations can expect and ask for a full end-to-end solution, which has great onboarding and supportive materials and ways to integrate, people inside their organization into any coaching engagement. And, reporting, because I think there's, there's definitely some myths out there that because coaching is confidential, that there can't be any insight for the organization and that it really only applies at the senior level. And there are, I want people to know that's just not true. There's definitely ways to share with you the pace of engagements and, uncover and have organizations very involved with what's going on in the coaching and absolutely tie it back to, markers for improved leadership growth, but also organizational benefits. So kind of raise the standard and know it's very affordable, it's scalable, and it's so much more than just finding a coach. It's about finding an organization that can give you a great end-to-end solution and give you everything you want because it's possible. We can report on things.
Love it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, so what's the best way people can reach out and connect with you?
Sure. So would love to hear from anybody that has any questions about this. And the best way to reach me, you can either send me an email at Cheryl, Cheryl, at epiphanycoaches.com, or you can go to our website at epiphanycoaches.com, or you can call me directly on cell at 905-572-3937.
Love it. Perfect. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for coming on. It was really great to chat with you today.
Oh, likewise. Thanks so much for the opportunity, Mike.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.